So peeps, real quick, before we get to it, I need to express deep thanks to both Poetic and her channel Poetic Does It, and then producer Sleep Deez and his podcast The Sleepover. Both amazing, hardworking people, army. Y'all are both so cool, and I look up to you both so much. And I want to thank you for all the inspiration and support and kindness that you have given to me. This feels like an Academy Award speech. And to keep it 100, to someone like me who grew up the way that I did, seeing people that are the same skin color as me in these spaces of being creative and being army, I can't begin to tell you how much that alone means to me. So finally, I'd like to thank the Academy. Just kidding. So let's get to whatever video I put this in front of. Probably something I filmed a really long time ago. I'm still learning. Thank you both so much. Let's get it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. Yeah, I said it. My name is Dallas, and I do this podcast to share my stories and have conversations and talk about BTS. Today, we're going to continue our deep dive review into RM's solo album, Right Place, Wrong Person. With me through this review is my Maddie.
Hello, everybody. It's Mackenzie Knight, aka Maddie, aka Mac. I am back again, once again, for more RM.
First, I forgot to say this in our videos. I want to make sure of is to give credit where credit's due. And for the translations, we have used both trusted translators at Bangtan Subs and Doolset. We're very appreciative of them and do not want to not give them the credit that credit's
Can't
due.
Can't gloss over these guys. They work hard.
These two are the trusted, tried and true, so we can have these discussions.
Mm.
Our next song today is going to be Interlude, question mark. Do something that we didn't do, and this is, you know, indicative of Dallas. I had an intro and then intro part 2, is that we didn't necessarily give what I call an elevator speech of us being army. I have been army since 2019. The first song I heard was Fake Love. The first video I watched was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And my bias is OT7, and then Rapline, and then Kim Namjoon. So that's me as Army. Mac, what about you?
I am Army since October of 2019. My first video was Idol. I caught it on a YouTube channel. And then I jumped right in to the storyline and went all the way back to the beginning. My bias is Jung Jungkook, and I am wrecked by Jimin and Suga because everyone's wrecked by Suga. RM because why not? It's very busy up here. and then I am fond of Jin's high notes, Kobe's flow, and Tae growls. So it's a wonderful world in where I'm at. But yeah, ultimate bias is JK because those eyes and that smile and that voice, forever, always.
Aww. Let's go to the next song, which is Interlude, question mark. Where are we going? What's happening? As I talked about in our intro, the intro to the intro, is that once you listen to the music and it sits with you longer and more things start to come out. As I had mentioned, this is being filmed in sections over a couple weeks. I went and listened to everything again before, and I think you did too, right? Before we come back together for these, and honestly, my thoughts are still kind of the same. I may have added to them. If anything, when I'm re-listening to it, I am hearing different sounds that I never picked up before, or things in the background. Especially getting a good set of earphones is crucial when you listen to BTS music, because
I literally just posted that myself.
And it also depends on where you're at. Like with your eyes closed and you're not doing anything, you can pick up certain things. But if you're listening and looking to lyrics, you can find certain things. And what I had mentioned before about layers of all this, you know, we're in the middle, we're kind of at the switch up. And I really like that as far as how BTS has done their music. They take you on a journey. It guides you through the story. And it gives you a time to kind of pause, breathe. Okay, we're gonna switch directions now. I kind of got everything out in the beginning, kind of some of the more unsavory things that you might not like, but who cares? Okay, where do we go from here now that I've let it all out? It really has that neo soul vibe. and JD Beck and Domi. There are 2 songs on RM's playlist, and one is Not Tight and one is Take a Chance. And Take a Chance is very reminiscent of the rhythms, the single drum, the keyboards, the chords. And so to listen to those songs of the people that he worked with here, I was like, yes, got the chance to work with them. So that was really cool. When I think about the lyrics, there's 2 of them that stand out, and that best grave in your cemetery. Almost like at this point to not given up, but given up, if that makes sense. Like we talked about it. You get to a point in your life where you're like, I just don't care anymore. Like, fine, you win. If you wanted to take me down, fine. If you wanted to bury me, fine. Go ahead and think that. Let me be that best grave in your cemetery because I'm moving on. Who is this you he's talking about? Person, fans, music, industry. And then what goes around comes around. It's like, yep, if these are all the things you wanted to do me, you wanted to bury me, you wanted to break me, you wanted to get mad at for saying what I just said before and just really kept it real from the beginning part of the album, fine. Just remember, what goes around comes around. Like, don't forget that. So really like the neo soul vibe. Domi and JD Beck just make sense when you listen to them. And I love the fact that it is that transition from one part of the album to the next part of the album. And is there laughter at the end of that?
Yes.
Yeah, there's some laughter.
There is some laughter. Okay, I'm going to pick it up. So this is kind of a reminder that I'm doing this more from a sonic and lyrical point of view.
While I'm in the fields.
Sonically, the first thing, and part of this, so this is my re-listen today. The first thing that crossed my mind was 70s keyboard. And I had to go hunting and understand that I was raised in Canada, and I was either listening to reggae or I was listening to Canadian pop. So understand that like these are the 2 musical divergences I had, and occasional doses of Christian music from my grandmother. And so 70s keyboard, and I had to go looking for it, and I found it in Carole King, It's Not Too Late. You have to listen to the keyboards of that portion. And also Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. You have to listen to the keyboard aspects. If the keyboards were brought more forward, it would sound, it's very evocative of those artists. So for me, much of this album is so throwback. And I'm talking like early to mid 70s when I was a youngster. So it was really cool to hear those and be like, why do I know this sound? Like immediately going, look in the 70s, it's here, and finding it in a couple of places. It happens again in another track too. So if the synth and the keyboards were brought forward, you would find them very evocative of those 2 artists.
I think you would like the songs on RM's playlist because they are that. And so then if that's where that comes from, those artists then were probably maybe influenced or who influenced them by the same.
Their parents were listening to that.
Yeah. And so it makes sense that that good stuff that they listened to would carry on for generations because it was good then. And you can put it good now. Yep, yeah, exactly.
And I agree with you with that pause and them, you know, the sound is still a little bit hectic and the guitar and the bass over the drums. I'm gonna marry that drummer. It's in my notes. I'm gonna marry that drummer. Is it a relationship track, like you're saying? Who is he talking to? For lyrics, bridge for the instruments before it ramps back up. And then if you're listening to the song, right, and he's doing all of this stuff in the middle, and then you know what? I don't mind at all. A lot of question and answer. Would it have been better if I didn't know you? And then the answer is, but because every feeling is true. But I love that. I hope you remember me and best grave in your cemetery. I took it a little bit differently. We're done, but I want to be your best memory. I kind of want to haunt you just a little bit. I want to be the best memory. We're done. That's great. You've put it away. You've put me away. You've put us away. I want to be your best memory because you've got the best of me. You got the best of me. And you know what? I don't mind at all. Because what goes around comes around. There's no because there, but I feel like it's implied. What goes around comes around. And then at the end of that track, there is just you can hear the Namjoon chuckle and the M's. Hems way back when we did we learned about the hems and what those meant. That was to get people's attention, like, remember your betters. And the little smirky chuckle at the end, I'm like, bruh,
Did I hear you chuckle at the end?
Aww.
A lot to say. I know I keep bringing up his song recs all the time. Him posting different songs during his enlistment, like, that's how he speaks to you.
Yep.
That's why I love everything that he's recommended, especially over the past couple of years, because not only have they led me to other great artists, but I can now hear those influences, and the influence is something that they do very well, is that they don't copy. We know, our boy Sleep Deez says this, a lot of people say this, that they're not copying, they are studying and they are incorporating, and they're making it their own, not trying to take from it.
No, they are very
adding
much
to it.
Very much adding. They are hip hop people, they are rap people, they are R&B people, and everything that they experience, they incorporate in a non-copying way. I mean, admittedly, I can hear things, but it's always evocative. It's not a copy.
Right. And even this is all neo soul. Like, this is neo soul vibe. We haven't heard this from BTS. I mean, maybe we have
a little bit,
because they've done it
a little bit
here and there,
a little bit in Indigo.
Yeah. But this is really like, and maybe why I really vibe to it too, because neo soul has been, that's my jam. Like, let's go back to D'Angelo, let's go back to Badu.
Makes me think more a little closer to spoken word between the neo soul, like kind of leaning there. So for me, it's a little more spoken word than neo soul, but neo soul is not one of my musical genres. But the spoken word, being a writer and liking to speak poetry, it grabs me. So it grabs me from that angle.
And what did we talk about before? Rhythm and poetry.
Absolutely.
There you go.
I love it.
All right. Any final thoughts on Interlude ? Because I do have one.
Think, I listened to it again today, and it's like the shortest songs somehow are the most impactful.
Yep.
These tiny, tiny snippet tracks, these little bits, are saying so much with so little, and that, I think, is a great writer's trick. To pack it all in teeny tiny little snippets and make people have to pry it apart and think about it. You can't just run with it and go and call it a day. You have to be like, oh, wait a minute, what do you mean by that? There's not enough words for you to work with, so you have to think about it.
Yep.
I love that. I love that effect. It's been joyful.
The music, the art has you looking within. It has you taking those moments if you are willing to take them and willing to explore that. My final thought on this ? Is, when I think about the theme of right place, wrong person, I don't know what this one is talking about. I really can't put a right place, wrong person of how I've explained it before. Kind of ? Like, where are we at right now? How do we start identifying right places and wrong people? Because I'm still going through this journey of trying to figure out where I fit in. And this was one where I was like, oh, maybe that's why it's the interlude and the ? Because we're starting
to do a little more deeper reflection, and a little more internal rather than external.
Yep. Exactly. Awesome.